At the end of it, she's gonna be like, God, I just never tell anybody this stuff. This is crazy. And then the goal is to get her to say, God, I feel like you know everything about me and I just don't know anything about you. It's phenomenal when a girl says that, because that means she's investing all this stuff into you. That's what investment is. But investment is building this very solid, tangible connection between you and the girl. Yeah, I mean, it's all comes down to investment. Anything that you can do to get investment out of the girl, out of anybody really, like even your best friend, you want to get a stronger relationship with your friends, do things that are going to cause investment back and forth, and you'll have a stronger relationship. How you cause investment. You have multiple ways. There's different types of investment. So before you actually decide how to elicit investment, you have to decide what types of investment is there. There's emotional investment, there's time investment, there's physical investment, there's monetary, fiscal investment. There's probably a bunch more, but those are kind of the four main ones. When you're dealing with a girl, I like emotional investment, time investment. The biggest form of investment, I think, is time. I think time investment is your winner. That's your loophole. That's the way that you create everything you need with women. The reason why is they can choose to spend their time with anybody. And if you can get them to spend their time with you, then they'll backtrack the other types of investment, which is the beautiful thing. Most people say emotional investment is the best. Emotional investment is fantastic when you're talking to girls, but they're so emotional already. I feel like that's not as strong as time investment, because a girl can just spew her emotions on anybody. There's even words for it. She's just like an emotional sounding, if you just turn into an emotional sounding board. So try to get as much emotion out of her as possible, but realize that that's why physical escalation is kind of overrated. Because while some guys physically escalating on a girl, and it could work or might not work, I'm just sitting there next to her for a long period of time. That's why I don't mind being in the set for like 3 hours with a girl and not open to any other girls. Because if I'm in set for 3 hours with a girl, the chances of hooking up with her is extremely high, with no touching whatsoever. Because she can choose to spend that time with anybody else. So if she's choosing to spend those 3 hours with me, or with you for that matter, you're gonna have a lot of success. I'm gonna spend 3 hours with a girl because I want as much investment out of a girl as possible. 3 hours with one girl, you think about it, most guys are out gaming for about 4 hours. I know guys who are really trying to hit up hard are a lot longer. You guys should be a lot longer than that. But I was telling a couple of these guys during the day game session, if I'm gaming by myself just to close, I'm not gonna be out for more than an hour or two. I'm not gonna be out like hitting it hard. Like I think that's, after gaming as long as I have, that would be a fucking joke to have to like go out for hours and hours to then have some success. Like that's laughable to me. I would be embarrassed. But the more I think about it, I'd rather just be in and out of that club, putting in that time. I'm not in the club to like enjoy myself. I'm in the club to put a result in. If I'm in the club for more than an hour or two, it's because I'm coaching. Yeah, so if you're not willing to spend 3 hours with a girl, she'll sense that and it's not gonna happen. So the way that you amuse yourself is you learn new ways to find investment with the girl. The more emotional investment I get out of her, it buys my mental capacity to an extra 30 seconds to a minute, roughly, of me being able to not be bored and stay in the interaction. One of the biggest seducers I ever met, I asked him, like, so what's the biggest secret that you have for girls? Anytime I see like an older natural like that, I always want to know what their secret was. And he's like, the hardest thing to do is to actually get a girl to believe that you like her. And you fall into that trap of most girls won't believe that you actually like her because you're put together well, you have a decent package that you're putting, and yeah, because you just said it, you don't really give a shit, right? So the challenge for you is finding out what about these girls could you give a shit about in order to actually hook up with them. In order to get investment, you have to find out a bunch of things from all these girls in order to break rapport and qualify about these things. Let's say a girl has everything you want. Let's say she speaks German and Spanish, or she got an amazing ass, which to me is far more important than the language crap, but yeah. And what you do is you tell them that it's not good enough. So like when I see a girl with an amazing ass, it's amazing, but it's not quite big enough. She's like, what do you mean? Yeah, it is. Then she kind of sticks her butt out. I go, no, it's got width, it doesn't have depth. I couldn't put something on it. She's like, well, yeah, you could. I go, all right, well, let me see. Put my drink on it, and I just like start drinking the straw out of it. Oh my God, I can. This is crazy, but I can just rest it there. She sticks out even further. Yes, you can. So I'm like, all right, sweet. So I put it on there. She just rests it. I kind of go like this. I pretend to like walk away. She's like, no, you gotta get it. All right, okay, I come get it. So then let's say it's a language thing, right? So you tell the girl. So she knew multiple languages. You tell the girl, oh, you don't know Spanish. You're just lying to me, right? And then she says, oh yeah. I start asking her to tell you different things in the language. But all right, it's good, but it's not good enough. You don't have the accent. You don't sound like a hot Latina. Yeah, I do. And then all of a sudden she starts talking with a little more flair. So each time that she does that, it's more investment out of her. So it's not about fitting in the neg, right? It's just about breaking that rapport, getting some cognitive dissonance going, so that she feels the need to have to keep going. You follow?
Yes.
All attraction comes down to investment, purely. So you have emotional investment, you have time investment, you have monetary investment, physical investment, right? So monetary investment would be, could you get her to buy you a drink, for example? Just something small. When you're dating a girl, is she driving to come see you, or are you always driving to go pick her up, right? I used to keep a profit and loss, a P&L sheet with every girl that I dated, based on like how far I'd have to travel to see her, who was buying each other more drinks, more food, stuff like that. I don't recommend going quite that far, but it's kind of funny. So you have emotional investment, fiscal investment, physical investment, and time investment. Time is by far the most important one to me. You'll find, because like here's the thing too, a girl just standing next to you, that's all that you need in terms of attraction for her to actually hook up with you. Because she can choose to be around any other guy. She could get up and leave, she could walk away. A lot of guys have this misconstrued type of perception of what the girl has to be doing to be showing interest. She just has to be standing next to you, hearing your crap. She just has to be hearing what you're saying, laugh every once in a while, and just stay in that. Because she could be with anybody else. So now you have emotional investment, right? Emotional investment is very close to number one and number two types of forms of investment. Because the more that she's telling you about herself, the more eventually she's explaining herself and justifying herself to you, the more attraction you're gonna have. Real game is not flashy spins and keno and jumping up and down with a girl and like making fun of the girl. Real game is seated alone in a corner, real quiet, and showing her your sensitive side. Right? Real game is quiet isolation and deep qualification. It starts very simply with like level 1 qualifiers, meaning where are you from, what do you do, just like boring AFC kind of talk. And then it goes into craziest thing you ever did, how adventurous are you, what kind of traveling have you done, and then it goes into deeper shit like what's the worst day of your life, what's the best day of your life, who's the person that fucks you over the most, have you ever been cheated on, just like really aggressive type shit that kind of, and ask any question that probably has built character, and then what's going to end up happening is it's going to have this huge storyline. It's going to have all this stuff that she's going to end up telling you, and at the end of it, she's going to be like, God, I just never tell anybody this stuff. This is crazy. And then the goal is to get her to say, God, I feel like you know everything about me, and I just don't know anything about you. It's phenomenal when a girl says that, because that means she's investing all this stuff into you. That's what investment is. But investment is building this very solid, tangible connection between you and the girl.